Club order. I had a cup of coffee yesterday afternoon. Black Rifle coffee. It was great. Nothing in it. Just the coffee. That's when I first try coffee. I just don't put anything in it. Is the coffee good?
That's smart, actually.
First time.
Yeah.
Then I put a little oat milk in it after that. First time, though, it was a good coffee.
Oh, you're an oat milk guy.
I am. I think almond's too rich for me.
Yeah, I like almond.
Yeah, so does my wife.
I can do oat, but I prefer almond.
Yeah.
It's a very California thing.
Is it? Because they say, not to waste anybody's time, oat milk's actually a superfood.
Is it?
Yeah, I just found that out about a week ago.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is not a big almond milk market.
So I'm going to say something, and you're going to think it's crazy. But 2004, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, same draft. If Big Ben gets drafted by the Chargers and Phillip Rivers gets drafted by Big Ben, Phillip Rivers has the trophies, and Big Ben just has a nice career and occasionally some Hall of Fame votes. Now, I know you're going to push back on that. Big Ben has been to 3 Super Bowls. He's won 2. But Big Ben is the definition of very fortunate to have landed where he landed. That is not disputing his size, arm talent, his overall talent. First of all, he was never as cool as Montana, Aikman, or Brady. He was never iconic like Manning, Favre, Elway. He is one of only 12 NFL quarterbacks to have 2+ Super Bowls, but he never beat a legend like Eli beat Brady twice. He played poorly in both Super Bowl wins. Big Ben's never won an MVP. He's never even been an all-pro, first or second team. He has no national commercials. Even his safety had a shampoo deal. To me, I think we forget that 30% of his wins are against the Browns and Bengals. He's 48-10-1. Well, Brady was great in the playoffs. 2. You put Big Ben behind worse, inferior offensive lines in San Diego with an ownership group not willing to spend that kind of money. I'm not disputing the talent, but he got 2 Hall of Fame head coaches, a Hall of Fame owner, a great general manager, and an unbelievable brand that attracts free agents. Just trade Phillip Rivers and Big Ben. I'm going to throw something out, and you didn't know this. How about this one? Phillip Rivers actually has been in more Pro Bowls than Big Ben. Worse offensive line, don't have the ownership group, never had the receiving talent. In Ben's first Super Bowl, 5 Pro Bowlers. He wasn't as good as Jerome Bettis, Hines Ward, Troy Polamalu, James Harrison, Joey Porter, James Ferrier, Alan Faneca. Not in the first one. He played poorly. His wide receiver in that first Super Bowl had more touchdown passes than Ben did. His second Super Bowl, all 3 playoff wins, despite great receivers, he never threw more than 1 touchdown pass in any game. Great owner, Hall of Fame coach, lousy division, never been an MVP, never been a first or second team Pro Bowler. I am not disputing his talent. But I hear this a lot of times from successful people. They love to give themselves all the credit. I am just a great attorney. I'm an amazing doctor. I am a top salesperson. Go look at the genetics. Your parents were probably pretty smart. You don't become a 4-point Harvard anything unless mom and dad probably had a little brain power as well. Probably had mostly stable life. Don't kid yourself on Big Ben. Don't kid yourself. Phillip Rivers and Big Ben swap different legacies. By the way, Ben should get into the Hall of Fame, not disputing that, not disputing his talent. And I do think he has more natural talent than Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was a much better college quarterback. Phillip Rivers had more offers. Phillip Rivers, from a very early age, was a more mature quarterback. And Phillip Rivers had certainly more to overcome. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
And I talk about that today because Ben yesterday said this could be my last playoff game. That was sort of the genesis of this. And I don't think it will be because I think he's going to fight to the last drink of NFL playoff football, but that was the start of it.
Well, Deshaun Watson had career best in completion percentage, passing yards, and passing touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
But the Texans still finished with a 4-12 record. Obviously, Bill O'Brien was fired this year, and now rumors are circulating that he could want out of Houston. According to Mike Florio, Watson has quietly spoken to some teammates about the possibility of requesting a trade from the team. It's going to depend a lot on who they hire as the next head coach.
I'd be fascinated to see. First of all, they get a lot in return. I'd be fascinated to see the market because he gets hit a lot. He's expensive, 2 ACLs, and he is more playmaker than beautiful throw over the football. And there's a lot of coaches that have a system that like they're kind. And he's not one of those guys that plays within your system. He's just crazy. He's just running around making amazing plays.
Well, I think he's had to do that because they've been mostly terrible.
And I think that fits actually who I actually think he's at his best being allowed to be that. He's really dynamic at that.
I'd love to see him in a system, actually. I think that he is such a playmaker and has had to be such a playmaker for the Texans. Him being in a system where he has a little bit of order and has weapons around him and has, stability, he would actually thrive because we know what he can do under pressure, having to make things happen. I think the market would be massive for him if they can fit his contract. Now, if you're looking at what the trade would result in, it's a cap charge of $21.6 million. I mean, he would get a lot of picks in a trade.
Yeah, so you could totally justify that because Houston, if you had to pay a cap hit for a year, you'd get like so many picks.
Well, if you're losing Deshaun Watson, you're doing a complete
over.
rebuild anyway.
Right.
So you'd want to get a bunch of picks. You're likely going to be terrible, so you're going to get a top pick anyway in the draft.
Let me throw a team out to you that I think is actually perfect. New England. So they already experimented with a mobile quarterback for a year. They did the Cam thing. Deshaun's obviously way better than Cam. Secondly is Belichick's like 67. You really want to go with a college quarterback from the Mountain West Conference?
No, I don't think he's going to.
Another thing is, who would mask New England's lack of dynamic flaws? Deshaun Watson. I mean, if Cam was more of a playmaker than he was 5 years ago, that would have masked more of their flaws despite their, lack of dynamic. I mean,
Cam's clearly having trouble throwing the ball. So the shoulder thing is a problem.
So to me, I look at all the teams and I think, okay, New England just did the mobile quarterback thing. Belichick doesn't want to experiment with a Mountain West quarterback. At 15, that's what you're going to probably get. And the other thing is, it masks all their issues. I mean, they have no playmakers. They cannot get a pocket. Everybody's talking about Belichick getting the quarterback from Alabama.
Mac Jones.
He's a pocket quarterback. You have to have a playmaker in New England at quarterback because you have no playmakers on the perimeter.
Exactly. So, and to your point about not getting a college quarterback, you're getting, if they're going to go in that direction, how are you going to take a college quarterback that isn't, and not that Mac Jones hasn't had a